Welcome, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
We have a very special guest today. We feel like it's going to be a very, very interesting topic.
Yeah.
We have the Boy Detox.
Hello.
The TBD for short.
The TBD.
A dating and relationship expert.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Say hello.
Yes, please.
I can. I'm Jess Matthews.
Hello,
but
Jess.
Otherwise known as the Boy Detox.
Love it. So she's the Boy Detox, and don't be scared, men. Just because her name is the Boy Detox does not mean that she hates you.
Yeah.
It actually is the contrary. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So Jess, firstly, I just want you to give us like a quick little introduction. How did the name the Boy Detox come around? And for me and a few people I've told what your Instagram handle is. Whenever I say, oh yeah, we have this girl coming on, we're going to talk relationships, casual sex, all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, and her name's the Boy Detox. They automatically just think, what?
Man hater.
Going to be a man hater, like going to be so biased, whatever. But I assured them that it's actually the complete opposite. You're probably the most male-thinking female that I know. Very objective.
He's doing this now to get in your good books. That's why. So he's not thrown under the bus. That's why.
Just get in early. But just give us the listeners a quick insight about who you are and where it all came from.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of a long story, but I'll cut it short. In my sort of mid-20s, I was working in bars a lot, traveling, dating, doing my thing. And I had a bunch of interactions with men that some didn't really go my way, some did. And there was one particular guy that I was dating for a little bit, and he really hurt me. But it was sort of to do with my ego more than anything. I thought that I kind of had it in the bag, but it was a surprise and it shocked me. And I was like, how did I end up like being hurt? I didn't even like this guy. So I kind of like took a bit of a long, hard look in the mirror, and I was like, mate, what are you doing? Like, you're a little bit boy crazy. It's a bit stupid. Like, go and focus on your own shit. And I was driven heavily by emotions. So I would just like go and do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted, which was fantastic in your 20s. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to give up men for a month.
Oh, for 1 month.
For a month.
You're going to be like for a year.
For a month.
4
but it
weeks.
was a big thing, you know, you're in your 20s, you're in bars, you're traveling, you whatever.
That's long for your 20s, to be fair. And you're traveling.
And I was just used to doing like whatever came along, you know, and like it was replace, don't chase for me. So
Replace, don't chase.
Replace, don't chase.
Okay.
So like if someone kind of rejected me, I'd be like, well, on to the next one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
replace, don't chase. Yep.
Put that in my notes.
Hashtag replace, don't chase.
Yeah. So I kind of like had a little bit of an issue with it myself. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give up men for a month. And I've always been a writer. And so I set myself these rules. And one of the rules was like, you need to write in your diary every day about this experience, blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of like detoxing because, of course, there's men that are always kind of texting you, like, come over, like, do this, X, Y, Z. And you need to
say no.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a new experience. So I set about, going through this process, and it was a little bit jarring. And then I was like, I'm just going to develop this into a concept. So I developed into this like full month-long detox concept. And then I wrote a book called The Boy Detox. And that's where the name came from. So I still have the book. It's in my Google Docs.
You actually you haven't got it published yet.
No.
What's this book about? Just to give us a bit of like a summary.
Okay, so the book is literally aimed at women who are a bit disenchanted by dating or by their interactions with men, and they kind of find themselves in a mess where they're like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not cutting through the noise, or it's really frustrating me, or I'm losing my sense of self because I'm focusing on men. And that's what I was really finding. So it's like a week by week detox from men. So this is what to expect first week. This is what to expect second week. Yeah. And obviously by the end of it is you have like a better perspective. And the aim is for women to really like get back in touch with themselves, to understand what they're about and what's important to them before they go and pursue men.
Yeah.
So just basically putting themselves first.
Have you let anyone read this?
Yeah.
And what's been people's like thoughts about it?
I mean, like, it's been read by professional editors, and of course they're like, you know, this is grammatically fucked. But
You don't know you're theirs.
yeah, well, I do, but you know, it's very different getting something published.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I've been told it's pretty marketable, but I just never went and pursued the kind of financial effect of having somebody edit it professionally.
Yeah, for sure.
But I've had other people read it and they enjoyed it. It's like still quite funny.
Yeah.
Still quite down to earth. But yeah, it has that like deeper meaning of giving up men, not because you hate them, because you really like them, but just like to get back to yourself.
Just to see what it does to you. It's like taking a month off. Would it be kind of taking a month off booze or
Exactly.
or stuff like that? Just to like get back to that like base level.
I feel like the vibe of that book, just based on like your kind of quick summary of it, gives me like the subtle art of not giving a fuck kind of vibe. Where you're like giving people like a subtle guide on how to do things, not telling them necessarily how to do it, but it's like, but when you read it, like the book, it's like, how am I not already doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just the simple things in life that we just overcomplicate.
Reinstate
you know what I mean?
Stuff that you should, like,
and it's
already
like
know,
confirmation of stuff you already know, but reading it in an actual book, it's like, okay, maybe it's not as hard as I think. I'm just overthinking shit.
I also know women, and I know the inside of women's brains, and I know for myself, like I'm a particularly emotional person. I'm analytical. And I know when I get hurt about something, then I'm like all in my head, all in my feelings. So it's designed to help women around these circumstances that we really like do our heads in over.
Yeah.
So, you know, like even getting over a breakup or, you know, dating a series of fuckboys and then just being like, where am I? Like, why don't any of the good guys like me? And just like taking a break.
Yeah.
And working it out.
Do you think because you've written that book and you're a dating relationship expert, do you think when you're dating someone, it's kind of like you overanalyze and you try and read them when you go on your first date, your second date? And I've spoken to people who are studying psychology and they're really investing like the dating aspect and that part of psychology, and they said they actually can't help themselves. It's just who they are now.
Yeah.
They've been studying it for 4 or 5 years. Yep. If they're going to date, they're going to do it, and it's just who you are. Do you think like you're like that now because this is what you do? You help people, so you can't.
Yeah, it's like chicken. It's like chicken and the egg, you know, like which came first? Because I'm curious, I'm inquisitive, I'm analytical, so I'm always going to be like that, regardless of whether I'm TBD or not. But yeah, it does come into it for sure.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Like,
but it gives you good perspective. But the other thing I say is like, I coach the game, I don't play it. So I make mistakes.
Yeah.
I make mistakes that I tell people to avoid. You know, I go in eyes wide open and I'm like, fuck, like I did that. I did the exact same thing.
I was going to say, just to like, cause I've worked in sales for like a really long time, and a big part of the role is like you get really good at reading people, body language, tonality, and I think that it's the same. I just naturally just pick things up very easily in situations, but I don't think it's ever negated from the situation. I feel like it just helps a bit more to like pick up on certain cues and, you know, pick up on certain emotions a bit easier.
Later on, like nowadays, it helps me to be more discerning when I'm dating, so I can cut the shit, like cut the fat out quicker and quicker.
So you want?
Yeah.
When you're at our age, you need to.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You've got time.
Yeah, I'd say I'd be really good at reading people, but I'm now single again, so it didn't work out that well.
Aren't we all?
How did you get into being a relationship and dating coach?
So, that was kind of always my passion, and it was developing like alongside writing. Like I was always a writer. I was actually a music reviewer for a long time. And then I stopped doing that and was like, I want to write about my own stuff, which is relationships and dating. Started my own website. And then I was just kind of like punching out an article every week. And this was like alongside of the book stuff, because I was like, okay, the book's there, but I'm still going to produce articles based on like relevant topics, I guess. Because I was just really interested in like what was going on in the dating world, and I'm always been observant and whatnot. And people have always like people always come to me for advice. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe I'm not judgmental, but like anywhere, like clubs,
I find
airports.
that naturally when I started speaking to you, because we hadn't met each other, and I'd met you through Dwayne, and when we started chatting, I just naturally just started speaking about it so much, and I was like,
it just
I even said
happens.
to Dwayne, I was like, I don't know if I should talk about this. He's like, no, just say it. It's
I was
fine.
like, yeah, she won't care.
And
I
was
love
like,
it.
all right,
Like,
yeah, no worries. And I just went back straight away and started telling you all the shit.
Like, I love it. It's a blessing and a curse, but in the end, like, I love it. So, yeah, then a business coach of mine was like, why don't you go and do this life coaching course? Like, I think this is probably the next step for you because, you know, it's difficult to monetize writing. And what you're really good is talking to people and giving them advice based on their circumstances. And because of this non-judgmental stuff, people really relate to you. So I did this course, and then I knew from the start that I would specialize in dating and relationships. And before I finished the course, I had clients, and then it just kind of started.
That's sick.
That's awesome.
We should basically tell her how you end up introduced you to Jess.
Yeah.
It was very indirectly.
It was interesting. So I recently became I keep saying recently, August. I feel like that's quite a long time now.
Yeah, 6 months.
It's like you know, when you have. I feel like it's like, you know, when you have a kid and your kid's like 3 years old. No, but like, you know when parents.
We can't relate.
You know when parents talk about having a kid and said like, oh, he's 2 years old, they're like, oh, he's 36 months old. I'm like, it's one of those things. I'm like, oh, it's still really recent. It was not.
Yeah.
It's been like, you know,
it's been
8,
like
9
6
months.
or 7 months.
It's been 6 years. And I remember I came to Bondi, and I hadn't really dated before. I'd been in 2 very long-term relationships, and I started the whole casual dating. And I remember I came back to the house and I spoke to Dwayne about something, because the first date, like second or third date I went on, I ended up having like some pillow talk with this person. And I came back and I felt really unsettled because I didn't know what to give away. I didn't know what to give. Thank you for laughing.
It's a great song, Miguel's song, right? Pillow Talk.
I didn't know what to
No, it's Zayn.
I was having the conversation. I didn't know what to give away. I was a bit unsettled. I didn't really. And look, whoever's listening, at the end of the day, I was very new to this, like a lot of people are.
Yeah.
But I came back. I had a conversation about it because it's something that just unsettled me. And I said that this person was having pillow talk with me, and I didn't know what to do. Does this mean they wanted something serious? I don't get it. I'm just out of a relationship. I don't know what to do. And he said to me, no, it's like, it's not. Doesn't mean that. And he gave me your Instagram, your article on.
I pretty much said to you, like, you need to understand the best situation you could be in if you're casually dating someone or have this fuck buddy. And the best situation you can be in is that whenever you've finished having sex, you don't want to kick them out of the bed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
no. 100%.
You want
100%.
to be able to be comfortable and land in the bed with them, having conversations. It could be talking about things that matter and things that don't. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, that's the worst feeling you could have whenever you both finish, and you're like, oh my goodness, I actually want you to get out.
Can you just leave?
So the fact that exactly, just like so. What time do you have work in the morning?
I want to order a pizza, and I don't want you to have any of it.
So that's what I mean. So like when you said that, I was like, mate, like she's just because she enjoys your company, she's just wants to talk. Like, that doesn't mean she wants a relationship. That doesn't mean
well, from there,
and I was like, you know what? Read the Boy Detox's article on casual sex etiquette.
So this is something I've told. I remember reading this, and I was like,
I've sent this link to so many people.
I've sent this link to so many people. I was like, holy shit, because I felt that so many guys who I speak to
and women probably
I speak to a lot of guys like this. But of course there are women out there like that. But I speak to a lot of guys, and I feel that because maybe they don't understand the etiquette around it, it leads to a lot of complex situations. Like they just can't be upfront, they can't communicate, they're not ghosting people. This is where probably the whole fuckboy mentality comes from, because people don't understand they can just be communicative. So I read this article and I was like, "What? I'm fucking mind blown." And also, I'm not going to give everything away about the article, because at the end of this, I'll recommend people go to that and actually read it, because it is definitely worth the read. It really helped me out massively. And I'm like, I was 28 at the time. I'm 28, so it can help no matter what. But that's how I initially got directed to you, and it really helped me, saying that you can have pillow talk and it doesn't mean that they are in love with you. So
how did you come up with the
casual dating etiquette? Yeah,
because I read it and I was just like, because I remember when I literally read it as soon as you posted it on your story. I was like, just read it. Another great article, and it's just mind-boggling. And again, like I said, the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Like, you're reading this shit and you're just like,
fuck.
It's like, how am I not already doing this? Or because it seems so simple when you actually read it on a bit of paper or on your computer screen, and it's just mind-boggling that we're not obviously doing that. Like, where did that come from, and what's your like actual opinion on it as well, just to give the listeners like a bit of an insight as to what.
Okay, so this kind of came from like a flip side scenario where I was like, however, I don't know what age, like, but I was sleeping with people and they were essentially leading me on and like behaving like they wanted something and it was just sexual. And I kept getting caught out in it. And I was like, why the fuck can't they just tell me that that's what they want? I'm okay with that. Like, I'm a woman of however many years old. I'm responsible. I'm intelligent. Just tell me.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, just tell me. Just have the conversation. This is just sex. And, like, you know, how do you want to go about it? Or not in those exact words, but, like, let's just enjoy it. And I was just so angry.
Had you asked? Had you asked, like, what's happening?
I don't think so. I don't think I dug into it specifically with any guys, but I just saw it happening to me a lot. And I was just really, really angry. I was just like, why can't we just be nicer to each other?
Yeah.
Like, you're having sex. Sex is quite intimate in the end. And sure, it can be transactional. But it was just like, just be transparent about the circumstances. And whatever the scenario, be nice, you know? Like, say thank you. Bring a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Have a bit of pillow talk.
Yeah.
I think this is a big thing. I think that you're allowed to, you can still have sex with someone, but you can still have a good time while you do it. Like, you know, bring a bottle of wine. You can communicate. You can organise. You know, it doesn't have to just be like a booty call. Unless you want that.
I suppose when I explored it with men, like male friends, they were like, well, you know, because if you do those things, then they're going to think that you want to get married. And it's just like, no, like, we don't think that. You can just be like, look, I really like you. I think you're gorgeous. I think you're intelligent. I have a really good time with you. I don't want a relationship with you, or I don't want a relationship right now, but I'd love to enjoy this for what it is. And I think by saying that, you give a woman or a man the choice, and it's all about the choice. The choice to say, nah, I'm not cool with that. I actually want a relationship, or I want a relationship with you, therefore, nah, not good enough for me. Or, yeah, cool, let's go forward. But I think when you take the choice away from someone, it's disrespectful.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think that when it comes to like casual dating, because I know some people, without throwing names under the bus, but some people, they are very they're not communicative in this area. And in my mind, I'm like, you want to have casual dating, you want to, you know, have fun, enjoy yourself. But I like lying and then having this like anxiety when you speak to this person. You take away from the fun of it anyway. So what's the point?
Exactly.
Just by being honest, you then take away the stress. They're going to be annoyed at you. You're going to be dealing with messages, starting to resent them because of it. And you're like, fuck's sake, they won't leave me alone. But it's like, well, have you told them? You just want something casual. They're like, well, obviously not. Yeah. Because then they'll stop sleeping with me. I'm like, well, and what's the fucking point then?
Like, you know what you told me one day, and I thought this is so good. It's just like, you know what's really annoying? Like, lads need to realise that
It's fucking over everyone else.
It's like a domino effect. Like, you're meant to be looking out for everyone else. Like, if you're a dickhead to a girl and then you don't tell her how you feel, you don't tell her that you just want something casual, if you treat her like shit and then you end it with her, the next guy that comes along, she's just going to think you're a piece of shit. Yeah. And then if he tries to actually treat her well or is honest, she's going to be like, what the hell? It's just like, you got to treat that girl well 100%. Or be honest, because whenever you break up with her, if it doesn't work out, when she moves on to the next dude or whatever, the next dude's going to have a good time because she's had a good experience with the last guy. She's like, okay, the last guy is honest. Yeah. So I'm going to go in this expecting that this guy's going to be honest, and she's not going to have these millions of walls up and then be passive aggressive and all this sort of stuff.
Well, this actually came out. We were having a conversation with one of our friends.
We're helping each other.
We were having a conversation with one of our friends, and he was seeing this girl, and I said to him, like, he's like, oh, I'm like ghosting her a little bit. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, I want to push her off a little bit. I'm like, why don't you just say you want something casual? He's like, oh, because then she'll stop sleeping with you. I'm like, well, this is why she's going to hate you. Anyway, he then started seeing this other girl. And he'll know who he is when he's listening to this because we spoke about this.
And then Send me his Instagram, please. I need to speak to him.
And then he started speaking to this other girl, and he took her on a date, and they went back, and I said, did you sleep with her? He's like, no. I'm like, cool. How comes? Just out of curiosity. He's like, she didn't want to sleep on her first date because she's been going out with a lot of fuckboys who keep ghosting her. I'm like, mate, you're all fucking each other over. Yeah. Like, it's just a circle of fuck. Just stop it. Just stop the cycle so other people don't. Because I've been on dates with people now where people assume I'm a dickhead.
Yeah.
Because Because
I'm teaching him.
yeah,
I'm in his ear.
Because every single person before them has treated them like shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
you're
true.
doing this to each other, so you can't be annoyed that someone else has left you with the fucking shit that you've got someone else in.
Yeah. It happens
You
to
know?
women as well. And, you know, sometimes you have the choice between, you know, not talking to them or having kind of a hard conversation with them. And you're just like, maybe I should have the hard conversation with them because then they'll know for the next woman. And that's like paying it forward, you know.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And that's
You got to.
that's educating it like
Yeah.
one man at a time.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing we can do.
Yeah. The fuckboy cycle. We need to like name
Eradicate them.
the fuckboy cycle.
Need to.
No.
Yeah, I totally get that. We do need to actually, yeah, because when you made that point, I was like, that is so true.
We've
Because
just coined it.
you do get into, like, you do speak to women and they're like, oh, yeah, well, I've been fucked over by this guy and this guy. I'm just like, oh, what they do is just like, oh, they ghosted or they didn't communicate right. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, my goodness. And then when you are that to that girl, she thinks it's the best in the world. It's like we were saying, I've said this to you a couple of times, and there's been a few TikTok videos of like girls saying how low their expectations are of men now.
Really low.
Yeah.
Because men literally do the bare minimum and they
Yeah.
think it's the world. I'm just like, this
Not
is so
okay.
sad. I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, how bad are we as men? Where if you literally text a girl, oh, had a great night, thank you, that she thinks that's class. Or if you bring like a bottle of wine when you're going to like do
Thank you for letting me use your vagina as a glove. Is the line in the article. That's the line in the article.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Well, fuck,
You're a
just
poet.
say thank
So
you.
poetic.
You're a poet.
That is very
You
poetic.
have seen my vagina. Say thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so. I remember I'd say to someone they were having a bad day, and I was like, "Oh, I hope you're okay. Hope you got someone to speak to." And I basically got, you know, I'm glad there are like people like you in this world. And I was like, all I did was say, "I hope you're alright." Thing is, I've had every time like someone says that, I always have I feel like a need to ask, "Why is it you were so impressed by why I did that?" I'm like, well, you shouldn't be. Like, I always have. I get like. I want to have the conversation sometimes being like, you really like need to just have the standards high because that's not like
Look at you,
what I just did
inquisitive
is,
brain. You.
well, it's just what I did is just normal. It's just normal. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you should just expect more, you know,
Yeah.
don't treat the minimum as a knight in shining armor. And I think that's maybe why people either get into shitty relationships or stay in shitty relationships because they think that's all they deserve.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
this is
like-
what also creates this women hating men cycle because they get
Yeah.
fucked over and they're like, I fucking hate men. Men are trash, which I hate this too. Like, and I
Yeah.
have you know,
There are
crossed
some
the
good
bear
guys
with
there.
this. Of
There are some
course.
good guys out there.
Of course.
There's none in this room, but there are some good guys out there.
Rude.
Oh, sorry. If Oakley was here, I'd definitely say there was some good
Just
males in this
interrupted
room.
Jess while she was on
Sorry,
her,
apologies.
on her talk.
Apologies.
Sorry about that.
Apologies.
It's okay. Yeah, you know, there are good men, and it is really sad when you hear women walking around saying like, I hate men or men are trash. This is like my experience with guys and it's never going to change. I mean, to start with, if you have that attitude, it's never going to change anyway.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
completely agree with you.
But
You sometimes can understand. Because people, as I said to you, people
Yeah.
are molded by their experiences.
Yeah, you can understand it.
Yeah, and your opinion is molded by experiences. So if they think that way, they've either been brought up to think that way, or their experiences through life has brought them to think that way.
I think it comes from like not being educated, because it's like if
In
I
what
said
sense?
if I said to a guy, it's like, you know, you can be communicative. She'll still, you know, if all goes well, she'll still want to have sex with you, sleep with you, have fun with you, and everything will still be fine. Then they might, you know, it might not happen as much. Like if men were just a bit more educated on the situation, and I think that's where it comes.
Is that you basing off if she wants more from you, or is this just
It's them not knowing, but
Not
like
knowing
the
what?
likelihood is that, okay, I can't say the likelihood, but if you're just more honest about it, that person very well
honest about what though?
that
just
they
wanted
just
something
want to
casual. If
Yeah.
they bring it up to you,
Oh, okay.
yeah, if they bring it up to you and say, by the way, what is this? And you go, oh, I don't know, like, I kind of like, I'm open to seeing where it goes, but, you know, I'm like really, and, you know, it's a very ambiguous statement. You don't want anything with them. And it's like, if you were just educated enough to go, look, you know, you could probably get away with saying what you want to say by saying, I just want some sex, but I'm up having fun. They might go, okay, no worries, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
sweet,
and that's
no
the
worries.
position
Easy
that I was
days.
in.
And then a whole weight is lifted. You know, don't have this anxiety around conversations, and they know, and you know, you can just be really honest and open, and it creates. I feel it opens the door for so many better things with that person, because then it's like you are just honest about everything. Because
Yeah.
you're like, well, fuck it.
It can actually like make the sex really spicy.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, so I've heard.
I'm still a virgin, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just reading books and stuff.
Yeah, it's funny how like
Karma
honesty is actually like, it's like you're closing things off by being honest, but actually you're opening it right up.
Of course.
100%. Opening the doors massively.
Yep.
I think when everyone on both parties know exactly where they stand, that's literally most of the battle.
Yeah.
Like, you literally have to know your intentions.
To be fair, it is difficult. Like, it's difficult to line up, you know, a man and a woman who really don't have any other intentions for each other. And even though they are sleeping together, nothing happens. Like, no hormones take control and neither of them fall in love with each other. Like, it is rare, but, you know, we can hope for it.
Yeah.
And all you can do is like keep checking in, I guess, and keep being transparent. Like, I think transparency is the key.
100, yeah.
Transparency and like, and being nice.
Well, where do you think this has come? We didn't touch on this, but where do you think this has come from? Why do you think people treat people like that? Why is there this innate feeling to just be like, she's asked me something, or I don't know. I don't hear much about men dealing with this from women, so this is just coming from me. Like, I don't really hear men complaining much about women doing that. Obviously, you know, there's the odd case, but why do you think people do that? Where does that come from?
I think there's this like somehow this really like deep-seated feeling that men need to trick women into sex, therefore they do XYZ that they need to do, like that they need to kind of like tick the boxes before they can get in her pants.
Yeah.
And women know that, so they like make them do the things, but it doesn't necessarily match up, you know.
Where does that come from then?
I think this is like traditions of men and women being men and women.
Yeah.
From like marriage and
it's like like
religion.
From I don't know, early 90s, it's how society has brought us all up to be, like I was saying earlier. It's like
men must be dominant.
They must be dominant to protect, provide, all that sort of stuff. And you've always been taught throughout generations. You go to school, you go to university, or you get your trade, you get a job, you find your girlfriend, you marry them, and then that's just the process. It's like I was saying, men almost have to like innately feel like they have to tick boxes before they feel like they're worthy, whereas innately women naturally will just go towards a man without feeling as if they need to have boxes ticked.
But we still look for those cues because that's, for some reason, those are the cues that are like inbuilt in us. Like, okay, he's taken me like out for a date. We've gone for a second date. We've gone for drinks. I've met his friends, whatever. Now it's like safe to sleep with him. But yeah, it's just kind of all these embedded rules that and labels that society has kind of placed on us, which are not necessarily valid anymore.
Yeah, because I feel like when you just touched on it there, you were talking about how you go through these processes of like going your first date, your second date. There used to be this thing about the third date rule before you put out. I'm just like, yeah. So what my argument used to be about this is,
changed that. I don't do 3 dates anymore.
What I used to say to people, and a lot of my female friends as well, because they're just like, yeah, I'm going to make him wait. I'm just like, to be honest with you, if a guy really wants to have sex with you, he will go on 3 dates. He will go on 4 dates. He'll go on
45.
He will go on if he really.
It does not make
and the longer you make him wait, if you're hot, he will go and he'll sleep with you and that will be it.
And he'll still go anyway.
But that's the thing. It comes down to intention, right?
And it also comes down to the fact that you're putting so much value on your vagina. Yeah. To be the thing that
you're commodifying sex essentially.
You're literally turning it into like as you said, a commodity. Whereas like if I give him my pussy, sorry mum, he's just gonna leave. It's like, well, that's something you need to deal with. You need to be offering this dude more than like the fact that you're trying to wait 5 days before you have sex with him. That says more about you, and not him. You know what I mean? It's like if you're perfectly comfortable that you could keep this dude, then why are you waiting 5 days?
I think
if you really want to do it before
it's
that,
not the right guy.
Yeah, it's not the right guy.
I think that creates the issue as well. Withholding sex because you think that's the only thing left before it breaks down.
This is such a good.
That's what ruins. That's what ruins us. And I've had this conversation before, and I'm like, if you don't want to, fair enough. But if it's to do with because you think you need to withhold it to hold on to them, I'm like, that's already ruined the situation. Wrong, And I'm like, nah, it's
And for some reason, that's another thing that's instilled in women as well. And I kind of get it from one side of the coin because the longer you have to spend time with somebody, you know, if they're actually interested in you, if they're interested in more than like seeing you naked, then the more time you spend with them, the more time they have to, like, for lack of better words, fall in love with you and fall in love with your personality, or like understand what your values are, understand like that you're funny or XYZ.
Yeah.
Before you like get into bed with them.
What's your thoughts on sex in the first date?
Sex on the first date.
I was actually going to say, before you lead on to that, in terms of casual sex, if you could leave with like your big three, what would be your, I don't know, to summarise the big important points about casual sex etiquette?
Casual sex etiquette.
Yeah.
Say thank you. Say thank you.
I'm very thankful every time.
Say,
Did
say
you
thank
say-
you.
I thought you were still a virgin.
Like in my head,
Say,
in my dreams. If I were to have sex,
If you were to have sex,
I would
you'd
be thankful every
very,
time.
Yeah, I thought so. You're a
yeah.
great guy.
I'm so, yeah.
say
you're-
thank you. It
thank
could
you.
just be simple as like just checking you got home last night. Okay. I
Yeah.
had a really great time.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Simple.
So say thank you.
Uber Eats them some McDonald's or something.
That's even nicer. Say thank you. What else? It's not wrong to turn up with a bottle of wine, tub of ice cream, some massage oil, whatever, like just to make the sex be. Sex is not transactional. It never should be, even if it is casual sex. Transactional sex is boring, and that's for prostitutes.
Very true.
No disrespect to the sex industry. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with spending some time with a person that you want to have sex with. And what can my third thing be? Is just be communicative. Be honest.
I think that's probably the biggest thing. Just fucking say what's on your mind.
And also, like, if your feelings change about it, so, say that you have a casual sex kind of arrangement and your feelings change, you're like, actually, I kind of like you. Or I'm over it. Don't like the sex anymore. Just let them know either way.
If you don't want to have, if it's not that you don't want to have, you haven't got feelings for them, but you don't want to have sex with them anymore, how would you bring that up?
A what?
So casual sex, you're having casual sex with someone, it's not that you've got feelings for them, but you just don't want to sleep with them anymore for whatever reason.
Or
it's not because you have feelings for them.
You just want to end it.
Yeah, you just want to end it. How would you have
that?
that?
Goes on the communication.
But how would you say that, just for like people listening? Because that's a big thing to why people would
It's
ghost.
a really big thing. And this is something that you can do right or wrong. I just be like, yo, can we go get a drink or a coffee? And like, just say, I've had a really good time with you, but just want to let you know it's not really working for me anymore. And I know that seems serious.
Yeah.
Give them a call. Whatever. Like, if you've been sleeping with them for 2 years, and this has happened to me before, like I've been sleeping with someone casually for 2 years. Like,
probably meet
you want to have you want to have like a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. 2 years is a while.
Yeah, but
I was thinking more like 3-4 months, which I know a lot of people would be going through.
Give them a call. Gauge their feelings. Like, if
I guess
they
it's
don't give a
subjective.
shit, yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to know what the dynamics of your relationship with what this girl is, or vice versa with this guy is. So I think you just have to go based on the dynamics of the relationship, what your feelings are for each other, how much you respect them, and then make your decision on how you communicate ending the relationship.
That's kind of something else that I go hard about in the articles. Like, get the fuck over yourself. Like, a lot of guys think that you've had casual sex with them, you've had a great time.
Yeah.
Both of you've had a great time. You had a couple of wines. Not every girl is planning your wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not.
Yeah, you're
We're
not as
not.
good as you think you are. At the end
Wait,
of the day.
what? They're not?
Nah.
I'm absolutely heartbroken.
Even if we do have, because oxytocin affects women more.
Oxytocin?
Oxytocin, yeah.
What's that?
It's like a chemical reaction in our brains after we come.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
When you
we're basically
take drugs and shit.
women
like
are basically
I thought it was
fucked.
serotonin.
Women are fucked because it links more ferociously with estrogen than it does with testosterone. Testosterone, it lasts for like 14 minutes. For women, it lasts for like something like 7 days or something.
That's why they get digmatized.
Yes. There you go. It's seriously, it's science.
Because they must like have that feeling for longer than us.
Seriously.
So then if it's good,
science.
then they just end up in a world they're just thinking about it for 5-6 days.
Yeah. So even if, after 5-6 days.
I imagine that's what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Your mate's got some great science, hasn't he? Your mate's got some great science.
If they're thinking about you even for like a couple of days later,
Digmatized.
we're not planning a wedding. We're just like, we had a great time,
That's fair.
so just get over yourself.
That's fair. Okay.
And I think because guys think, oh, they had a great time, she's probably planning my wedding, then they like pull back and are like, oh, I can't see her again. Like, I can't take a bottle of wine. I can't do this, that, the other.
Fair enough.
You can always take a bottle of wine.
Yeah. Sex on a first date. That's what we were talking about before we went back to this to finish that up. What's your thoughts? I know I put a poll out before.
Shoot to kill. I mean, I've had sex on the first date before, and like many times.
Yeah.
And
I've
like
done that a few times.
I remember you put up your poll and Jack messaged me and you were just like laughing. He was just like, damn story. And I was like, mate, I've already messaged him. We're just creasing.
Or was it the body count?
No, this is just that he'd put up a post saying, in his opinion, he thinks sex on the first date is completely fine. And then Jack sent me it, and I was just like, I've already messaged him, don't worry.
Yeah.
Look, it is fine.
I don't know what Dwayne's talking about here. I have no idea what he's talking about.
It is fine. You never know what's going to happen. Like, I had sex with my ex and was with it, like, completely in love with him and was with him for 4 years. So
tell me if I'm wrong here, but I sometimes think that when you do have sex on a first date, it's like, I don't know, like a weight's lifted a little bit. I find that like everything's kind of, I don't know, what's
makes a bit more sense.
Do you think there can be benefits to it if the person is up for it? Because I always feel that afterwards, if that does happen on the occasion, that it's like all cards are open. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I suppose so. It means, you know,
you might... Feel free to...
No, I disagree, because then if you're saying all cards are open when they have sex, that means that's all that was there to open. Like, there's more to people. We've had this conversation already.
No, we have, but I was really curious to hear Jess's opinion.
Like,
I was just curious.
It's like, if you're saying, oh, we've had sex and all cards open, that means you're just assuming that that's all she has to offer as a person.
To be fair...
She's only given you a physical part of her body, which is probably...
And also, usually sex gets better after.
Yeah. To be fair, this is coming from when I first started dating. Later on, it wasn't like this. When I first started, this is the feeling I was having. Yeah. To be fair, this is the feeling I got in the beginning stage, I think, because I was very new to dating. So it felt like, I don't know, I guess that's all I was going for at the time. All I did know that I could, the only enjoyment I could get out of it was that. But I guess now that through experience, and, you know, it's only been like 8-9 months, but my opinion's definitely changed on that. But yeah.
I mean, I don't think, like, it's necessarily... I wouldn't say, like, oh, yeah, everything's way better if you have sex straight away. Like, I'd tend to say the reason that I think it's better to hold off having sex is, A, you get to know each other better on a deeper level. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Values matching, like, working out what your personality is beyond the bedroom. But also, if you are... dating to be in a relationship, you only have this sense of mystery and this sense of like first times once. So to draw it out as long as you can.
Yeah, I appreciate that now. Yeah, I do definitely appreciate that now more than before.
Yeah.
I think it like...
That's a good point.
I think maybe now it builds a bit more suspense.
That's sexual tension.
Like, yeah.
You're never going to get that back. You know, what if you marry this person, you're with them for 20 years and you fucked on the first date?
But you know what? It's like it
depends
what the intentions are on both sides. Like, if you literally are just there to fuck, like, you don't care about the sexual tension. The sexual tension for the 3 hours in the bar in Bondi is more than enough.
Yep.
Whereas if you're dating to find a relationship, then the sexual tension is worth it. Like, when I've been in a headspace where I'm looking for a relationship, like the dates that I went on didn't have sex and stuff like that leading up to it was great. Like, my last girlfriend, we didn't have sex until the 5th date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like that whole build up, kissing loads, going on dates, having a good time.
Super sexy. It's like you're back in high school, right?
You got your headphones. And just all that sort of stuff building up, and when it finally happened, it was just like, that was great.
Yeah, it's very true.
And obviously, like, sex gets better as it goes on, but it's just like that build up, and then just knowing someone on more than a physical level, it just adds to, even for the first time. I imagine the first time, once you build up that sort of rapport and relationship with someone over 3 or 4 or 5 dates, the first time you have sex with them is going to be better than if you were to do it in the first date.
That's fair. So that was coming from me having 2 very long-term back-to-back relationships that, you know, pretty much took over 8.5 years. So that's probably why that thought was there in the beginning stage. I think it was more, I was just out of a relationship and...
You just wanted to get one away.
Just looking to have fun. Yeah, just looking to have fun.
But, that's fair too.
What dynamic did you meet your exes in, though?
I met her in London. I was working as a street fundraiser and I was a team leader. This was like 5 years ago, and she joined my team for one day. And then the other one before that was...
One day? That's impressive.
I know, one day, mate, that's all it takes. At the end, she's only human at the end of the day.
Dong dang.
It is what it is.
Yeah, if she's listening to this, I'm really sorry. She won't be. And then my one before that, you're crying, I'm not crying. And then the one before that, met through friends and like school. We were like 17, 18, so that was just through friends, yeah.
So it wasn't like a first date situation?
No, I'd never been on dates. Like, I'd never done dating. I'd been introduced through people or met at work or stuff like that. I'd never been on like an actual date. My first one was when I'd moved in here, and the person listening to this will know. And I remember I was so nervous. First dates, and if you've never done it before, 28 years old,
you got smashed before you went as well, didn't you?
That was one of the dates. I got... this is a story. So I was here, and I went to meet this individual. Can you turn it down, the voice a little bit? It's very loud. Just a tiny... up a little bit more? Yeah, that's fine. And I remember I was going to meet them, and I had like a few vodka. Back in the beginning stages, I was like, I need to be a bit more like... lubricated. So, well, that is a good word. Lubricated, yeah. And I had a few drinks as well. So I made myself a few vodka lime sodas. I remember having like 2. And when you self-pour, it's usually like double shots. So I had like 3, and I was like, oh, this is nice. It tastes really good. So I had like a 4th one. And I was like, oh, I'm getting the flavour now. This is good. And then he was like, mate, you probably don't need to drink anymore. I went, no, I'm good, mate, I'm good. I drank more. I had about like 8 shots of vodka in total before I went, maybe 8 to 10. And then I poured a soda water bottle full of vodka and soda water, about that much vodka, and I drank it in the Uber on the way there. And I turned up, and she wasn't there for about 10 minutes, and I was pissed as fuck.
You had to get water, didn't you?
I called him. I was putting loads of chewing gum in my mouth. I was like sprinting on the spot, thinking that was going to get the sweat the booze out.
He's a child.
And then she's
a child.
and then she turned.
He's a child.
And then she turned up.
I wish I was there.
She turned up, and the bar we were going to go in couldn't get in because there's no table service. And then I took her to a random bar, and she was like, have you booked anywhere? And I went, yeah. I quickly went on my phone, and Dwayne before was going on a date with someone, and he was like, don't go to the winery in Surrey Hills, do not go there. And they have a really easy booking service for anyone who wants to go on a random date. If you haven't booked anywhere, just saying Surrey Hills the winery. Really easy booking service.
We're not sponsored by them.
And I went to a random bar, and she was like, well, where's the place after this? I went, I'm just going to go to the toilet. So I went up, booked a table at the winery, and he said to me, do not turn up. We turn up, I walk upstairs, and I see him, and I walk round his table, and I just see him go, why the fuck is my housemate here? And then I remember going downstairs.
And he just ignored me. Pretend he didn't see me.
But then after I went back upstairs, and I walked round again, and he went, mate, what the fuck are you doing here? And I was like, oh, man, I don't know, I'm just really fucking hammered.
And my date was just like, what are you doing? And then she was like, are you on a date? And he was like, yeah. It's like, is she downstairs? And he was like, yeah. She's like, get the fuck back downstairs, you absolute weirdo.
And then she was like,
why are you
fucking so drunk? I was like, I don't know.
He was like so lit. I was like, that's so sad.
Yeah. It was very funny. That was me last year. That was the only time that's ever happened where I've been that pissed. Since then, I've been very fine to like, I'll have like a drink beforehand.
I feel like this could be a good article for me, like bars that you can book really short notice for when you fucked up on a date.
Yeah.
If I were to go on dates,
I
could tell you some.
Yeah. Ravisi's is really good, I've heard.
Never been.
What about you when you're on dates? Do you book up front? Like you're organised about it?
Yeah, I'm quite organised. I think it's more since COVID. I've been a little more right. I need to like find a bar that you can book, because my worst idea of a first date would be, or any date, would be to go up to a bar that you can't book and then you can't get in. It's like,
I was thinking, would it be awkward being in like a queue with them? You're just waiting in the queue.
Yeah, it would be so awkward, stand in the queue.
It is something that women look for as well. Like,
it's
when
like
you're going on a
you
date,
want to be organised. So if I'm ever going to go on a date, it has to be somewhere that does bookings now, especially with COVID. Has to be. Yeah. And if it's not, I'll just have to find somewhere else.
Yeah. Or get there a little bit early.
No, because no. Why
that's something that women look for as well on first dates. Like when they're working out whether it's worth it, is if the guy has made the effort.
Yeah, I always book. Like I'd always book somewhere like in advance.
Yeah, because I've spoken to a girl before where I'm like, oh, let's go on a date, and they love the fact that I was just like, right, we're going this. Is that when you're free? Tomorrow. Right, we're going tomorrow, 7 p.m. I booked your table, and she was just like, I actually love that.
Yeah.
And it's like, when's the second date? I've got an idea. Yeah. Got the second date. Boom. this tomorrow.
The love dungeon.
And they're just like, here you go.
Yeah, because women just like to know that they're worth the effort.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not even like, it doesn't even have to be something like super convoluted or really expensive or whatever. It's just like, I have an idea. It's like a picnic on the hill in Bondi with a couple of ciders, my dog, whatever.
The simple things in life.
As long as you are saying, I have this idea, it's thoughtfulness.
Yeah. I think just to go back a little bit on, just to finish on sex on a first date, I think that a lot of people judge sometimes people on doing that. And so, like, I know men do it against women. Maybe women do it against men, but I know it's a big thing that I hear against blokes. Oh, she does it on the first date, or she slept with, a number of people. And I'm always just like, yeah, I just think
because women are owning their sexuality, men have a problem.
Yeah.
It's like they want you. If you personally, you want a girl to have sex with you in the first date, but yet you judge the girl knowing that she's doing it with other people.
Also, what's
like
the problem?
You want a girl to have sex in the first date, so what's the idea of her doing it with another dude in the first date?
Exactly. You have sex on the first date. What's the issue if they do it? Like, what's the problem?
That's a very deep-seated double standard that needs to be unpacked. But it does happen, and women are really worried about if they have sex on the first date. Like you have 1 drink, 3 drinks, and then you kind of like lose a bit of your judgment. So even if you think, I'm not going to have sex with them on the first date, kind of goes out the window. You do it, and then you're like, the next day you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that because, I want to see where it goes, and they're going to judge me.
But then if they're going to judge you, then they're not the dude.
Yeah, if they're going to judge you, then they're not the dude. And if they don't get enough from the first date where they know that they like you, then
or willing to go on another date or whatever. Yeah,
they're not going to want to go on another date anyway.
Have you got any really funny dating stories?
Where do I start?
If you were to give us like your top, try and think of like one particular that sticks in your mind, a really funny fucking dating story.
We might have to come back to that because there's several.
Okay.
We can come back to it.
I don't know. Like you might need to like.
But like touching the
Go on.
The first date thing, that like almost segues into like the online dating thing.
That's a great one.
Okay.
And yeah,
because I'll be able to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I've recently like downloaded one of the apps and just a lot of swiping.
Yeah.
A lot of diamonds, like trying to find the diamond in the rough.
When this goes live, your phone will start digging once they hear you say that.
It's like I'm swiping.
Mate, all these notifications have just come up.
Just so you know, I'm on Hinge. That's the only one I'm on. So if you see anyone on Tinder and Bumble,
at Dwayne Kerr.
At Dwayne Andrew Kerr, yeah, that's me.
Dwayne Andrew Kerr.
He is a single dad as well.
Got a plug. But no, I recently downloaded Hinge like a few weeks ago when I was out with the lad
on Valentine's Day.
For Valentine's Day. And downloaded it, and there's just the market's very saturated. There's a lot of people on there, and which I'm quite curious about, because obviously being a guy, you only see it from your point of view, and I've like asked some of my female friends like, what's it like on your side, and I'm happy to say that we have definitely got it better than they do, like.
Well, in terms of
their options. Mm-hmm. If we're like 40 no's and 1 yes, they're probably like 100 no's and 1 yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then out of that one, like they won't reply.
Yeah, they probably won't reply. It's
true.
ridiculous. But yeah, so it's just like, how do you stand out whenever there's just so many people like on that app? Like how?
Be authentic.
But like, for example, Tinder and Bumble, all you got are pictures. Like how
some people don't have a bio either. Some people it's just like, come on, put in a bit of fucking effort.
Biggest mistake. So the thing about dating apps, is that they give you like 4 or 8 opportunities to make to stand out.
Yeah.
4 are through photos and 4 are through text. So like my biggest advice is use the text to your advantage. The biggest things that I reply to on dating apps are when there's like a question.
Just changing my apps right now as you speak. There we go.
When there's a question that's kind of like interesting. So when there's like the two truths and a lie, that's an easy one to respond to.
It's a very easy one.
If you think they're hot, if you think that if you think they're hot, then I'll go to that straight away. And you just guess. Otherwise, like say something like that's different about you.
Yeah, because on my Hinge profile, I obviously have it's like 6 photos you have of yourself, and then you have 3 questions. So one So one is I'm regular at, and it's just my job. The
That's
second
fucking
one.
boring. Change it.
No, but what? That's
regular
funny.
at my job.
That's funny because people are like, you should exceed at your job. It's like, I'm regular at my job.
That's so boring.
I hate
just
you.
like,
Okay. But that's
I've just fell asleep.
That's the one at the bottom. That's the last one at the bottom.
Okay.
The first one is, it's like, what if I told you? And then
Good.
my response is, if you were, it says, what if I told you that if you were to write a message, instead of just liking a photo, we might have like a better chance of
perfect.
connecting.
Love it.
I
Provocative.
actually almost wanted to steal that because that's so good.
Of course,
Provocative.
of course you
Anything
would,
that's
yeah.
provocative.
It's very good.
Boom.
You can-
make them think about what they're doing on the
Because
app.
even if, like, you know, a lot of us are drunk when we're going through them. Like, it's just like,
Or
oh, yeah, it's a bit
hungover,
saucy.
yeah.
Boom.
And then my second one is just standard two truths and a lie, and it's
Always good.
my feet are size 13. I was born in Jamaica and I have an Irish accent.
Love it.
And yeah, pretty much everyone gets that wrong. They all assume I have size 13 feet, as you can imagine.
I hate him sometimes. I just fucking hate him.
Nothing
you
pisses me off more than when you comment on someone's picture or you comment on a comment and they just do like, so-and-so has invited you to chat. Like,
yeah.
you fucking lazy asshole.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
I made the first move, so you
have
should
to be
make another move.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
You made a good point, Daniel, the other day about
Oh, thanks, mate.
about why, a very rare occasion. That's what I remember.
Oh, thanks.
Actually, I don't even remember it. Maybe it wasn't
Mum,
that
I've
good.
made it.
No, you were saying something about how women probably don't make that much of an effort because they
'Cause,
probably get a lot more guys
Yeah. Because they're
messaging them because they've got the front, like, we're on the back
Yeah.
foot more
It's
than
not
they
the
are.
case.
You know what I mean?
I always think of it like women are in a crowded room with men. They get in DM 24/7. They probably don't care enough to make the first move. They'll just like it and be like, I'll wait for the guys to come
It's
flipping
not
in.
really the case anymore, and a lot of women are actually frustrated with the way that men don't respond to them on dating apps.
Yeah.
So they're like, why should I bother, you know? I think that's
Wait,
the
sorry, what? Would you be able to repeat that?
It's not the case, and women are getting more and more frustrated with the fact that men don't respond to them on dating apps. Like, and it's not so much like heaps of women. Women in a crowded room with a lot of men, because men just don't. I mean, it's an app where you have to text back.
Yeah.
So men are not going to be great at that.
But from my experience, I would count myself as a good texter. And from my experience, I find that in general, the women's chat isn't very good. To be honest with you. Like, I find I'm carrying a lot of the conversation. If I find someone that actually is responding well, I'm
That's
I was like,
abnormally.
what? This
Yeah.
is great. Like, I'm actually having a conversation. One is not 2-word answers or asking questions, and they're not taking 5 days.
It's like, am I having to prove myself in this situation? Is this why I'm getting really bland responses? Do I need to like prove to get to a certain? Like,
I don't need to have like good banter or whatever. But
Yeah, exactly.
from my experience, even when I was using dating apps like a few years ago, just recently back on it, like, I found like just having that conversation and was just very, very difficult for some strange reason. And I'm just like, you've obviously matched me because you find me attractive. Like, if you didn't find me attractive, why are you going to match me?
It could be serial swiping.
Could be that.
Could be that.
But it's just like, it's not like you're going up to a bar in a random club and you just talk to this hot bird and she just doesn't find you attractive. Like, you can look at the
Yeah.
profile before you say left or right.
Yeah.
And you've chosen to go right. So yes, so like, why would you not try and... Because for me, I'm not swiping right for someone I don't find attractive. I'm not going to have a conversation with.
I feel like we actually should treat dating apps more like it is meeting someone at the
At the
a
bar, yeah.
or at a gym.
That's what I
because
do.
it is, but you have more insight into their
Yeah.
lifestyle
Yeah.
or personality, quote unquote, via clues that dating apps give us. But for some reason, we just swipe, and then leave it.
What have you got up on your laptop?
I'm saying this is my tips for using dating apps well.
Go.
Okay, go
Let's
on.
hear it.
So
Let's,
number one is be relevant, which is what we just discussed. So
Yeah.
respond to something that you see in photos or text.
Go on.
Number two is ask a question, because
Yeah, 100%.
that's always hopefully it's going to get a response. If it doesn't get a response, then fuck it.
There's not
100%.
much you can do with that. if you don't get a
Exactly.
response.
And I mean, that's how we judge interest when we go on dates, is if people are asking questions, are inquisitive about you, then that shows interest.
Yeah.
Number 3, be cute, charming, or nice. Like if you can't be relevant because there's not enough information, and if you can't think of a question to ask, then just be nice. Just be like, "Hey, Andrew, cute smile, happy Wednesday," whatever it is. And then like another point on ask a question is, if you don't have anything to ask a question about from their pictures, just ask something provocative. Like, what 3 things would you take with you to live on a desert island?
Okay.
Something like that. Because if they're interesting, then they're going to respond well.
Yeah.
And it's going to give you some insight into their personality and their likes, dislikes. And number 4 is shoot to kill. Because, like, you may as well. You might never see them again.
And you probably won't.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's no point overthinking the situation. Just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like those.
I like that.
Shoot to kill.
Awesome. What other points have we got? I've got quite a lot.
I want to go into go into the question and answer stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously, like on our side, and also TBD's side, aka the Boy Detox, she has pushed out to her followers questions that they wanted to ask men, and vice versa with us. And the screenshots that she sent us were quite good. And
should we do like a round each, or should we do?
Yeah, I feel like the questions I have we've kind of covered, but I have like one here that I'd like to ask. But do you want to go first, Daniel, or
you're the guest, Jess?
TBD?
Okay, let me start with, what's the deal with younger women? I'm so much sexier and confident in my 30s versus my 20s. Boys, you're both in your 20s, eh?
Yeah, it wouldn't be something that we could really relate to. That's not really. But I know I could imagine the reason why older men go for younger women is because probably
shiny things.
You're less like experienced, so you're a bit more easily swayed, and it's just easier than having like a deep and meaningful conversation. You can just get your underway and do what you want. That's probably why people do it.
My answer's completely different, and I probably obviously thought about this before I talked, but I think
I'm not talking about myself here. It's definitely not me. I don't like.
I think when it comes to that, if she's saying that men are going for younger women, I think it's a time in your life thing. Mm-hmm. So if she's meeting these 30-year-olds who are going for younger men, it's literally not because it's her. It's just because they aren't ready to settle down. You know, if they're going for someone who's in their 30s, 35, like they're not going to be looking to just go for it. Well, they could be, but relatively speaking, they're not going to be wanting to just fuck around. Where they know if it's a 20-odd-year-old, early 20s, 25, the likelihood of them not wanting something serious is a lot higher. And it means they're able to have fun with this hot girl, have some sex, and the likelihood of that there's going to be commitment is very low. And I think that's why older men in their early 30s, whatever, will go for younger, because they're just not ready to commit. I think it's a commitment thing. It's not just because it's shiny and new, because every woman that you see is going to be new woman is shiny and new. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're not shiny and new.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's like, sounds very ageist, but you know what I mean? It's like if they're younger, they're just not going to want commitment. Less likely to want commitment. And that's obviously what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Well, this is a good one then. Are they conscious of being shit guys when they are? And if so, what is the motive of some of them pretending to be good guys when they know they'll behave badly?
Some people, I think, do realise. I think some people consciously know. I think it's just more like it's the path of least resistance, or the one that causes less conversations, is just being a bit of a dick. Via like ghosting, being a bit distant, where like having that communication, having those conversations is the harder path to go down. So it's not that I think they are intentionally trying to be a dick, but they're intentionally not trying to cause themselves more stress than needed.
Gotcha.
Without realising that other person is being affected by that. I think it's a very it's very self-serving. It's very self-serving, yeah. Can
you read the second part of that again? Just like
and if so, what is the motive of some of them pretending to be good guys when they know they'll behave badly?
Did I answer that question?
I think
self-serving.
Self-serving. Girls say that they don't want. I think they're pretending to be a good guy thing is just, as you said, self-serving. they know that's going to stead them well in the future. It's like, if I pretend to be a good guy, I'm going to get to have sex with this girl.
Yeah, this kind of all goes back to the transparency thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's what they've realised. Yeah, I think it just comes down to transparency and communication. It's them not realising that they can be a good guy and still get what they want out of the situation, because that can come across quite attractive. Communication.
And I think, and listen, there's a thing going around where people are just like, why do girls seem to go for bad guys, quote unquote? And it's just like, because girls, like, when they go for bad guys, you know exactly what they're getting. It's like, if you're a bad dude, they know that you're not going to commit. They know that it's just going to be sex. Whereas, like, the good guy is a dangerous one, because the good guy is the one that comes in, pretends to be everything that they need and want, everything that they've hoped and dreamed, everything that the princesses in the Disney films are experiencing, and then they're actually not. It's the ones that pretend to be good that are the issue, whereas the ones that are bad guys get the bad rep, but they're actually the ones that are very honest about who they are and what they want.
That's soft boy versus fuck boy.
Good ones.
How would you define a fuckboy? How does TBD define a fuckboy?
Okay, so fuckboy to me is like, you know, you're fine, like, because they're usually pretty obvious. Like, they carry themselves like fuckboys, they behave like fuckboys, they make noises like fuckboys, you know, like, and you know what you're getting with them, and it's usually pretty obvious. Whereas with soft boys, they go in.
Wait, sorry, just to go back. How would you define a fuckboy? Like, what would you say that some of the traits are? Because I know that this is quite like a thing that
they want sex. That's pretty much it. They want sex and they're non-committal.
This is how I would define it. You could disagree, which you will if you disagree. I think it's just intentions. This is what I think. I think it's like lying about your intentions. I think it's okay to just have sex with someone, but I think it's when you get asked about it and you're lying about your intentions. I think 100%. That's what creates this thought that, you know, that's what I think creates this fuckboy definition.
100%, but I think that fuckboys are actually better at being transparent about their intentions, whereas soft boys are not. It's like, it's more complex,
What's a soft
more
boy?
Convoluted. The soft boys are the ones that will come on like, as in, I want to date you, I care about you, I miss you, I want to see you, like, how's your mom, like, how's your dog?
Words, no actions.
Yep.
Kind of vibe.
Yep.
Huh.
And that's way worse because it fucks us over. Because you're like, oh, this guy actually likes me. Like, he's making noises like he likes me, like he's saying X, Y, Z, but then he's not following through, and sometimes he is following through, and it's just really confusing. Whereas a fuckboy is much more straight down the line.
Yeah, I guess my how I saw fuckboy is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you say fuckboys?
I think it's just the same, just intentions.
Yeah, I would say
intentions and transparency. I would say.
Yeah. I think it comes down to being like, I thought he liked me. It's like, yeah, but I think as long as you say your intention, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, because that other person has the option to walk away from that situation. You're giving them that option. By lying about it, that's what's creating this deception, this mixing of emotions, this like, you know. And
I think the soft boy is like creating.
Yeah.
It's more emotional manipulation and more deception, and a fuckboy is like deception. But it's a bit easier to spot.
In terms of.
Like you can just tell. Like I always say the word. Like the only bad thing about a fuckboy is if they don't fuck. You can be a fuckboy, but you got to be good at fucking.
I have a friend who's like that every now and then.
Like, it's the worst. Like, are you a fuckboy or are you not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's usually like that after a big night
Okay,
out.
Casanova, what do you got? No.
If he's listening to this, he knows exactly what he is.
No, so I thought of a fuckboy is someone that like you're allowed to have sex with multiple partners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I would have counted the fuckboy as one that wasn't honest.
Yeah.
That would somewhat tell the girl what they want to hear just so that he can keep fucking her.
You're so different. You're so different from everyone else.
But it's so
you know
obvious. I mean? It's so, or maybe it's just for me, but it's so obvious. But a soft boy is like quite manipulative and quite emotionally manipulative.
It's like the nice guy thing.
Yeah, it's a nice guy.
Nice guy persona.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there... Sorry. Can you hear a noise in the background?
It's just a light. You're fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did a poll on this, and it was like quite polarizing.
What's the more? There's no responsibility. It's purely just you know each other. You know what each other like. It's kind of naughty. You shouldn't be doing it. Oh, it's a bit, mischievous, and it adds to like the, So yeah.
But it can just be really, it can kind of undo you if you're getting over somebody who you genuinely have feelings for, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go back for this night of comfort, and because we know each other, and it'd be really nice to spoon each other for the next day or whatever. But then you walk away from it and you're like, it's fine. Fuck, it's not fine.
Yeah.
It's really not fine.
I think the time it did happen afterwards, I was like, once is a mistake, twice is a habit.
Yep.
I got that from Atomic Habits, James Clear.
Yep.
Sure
doesn't surprise me at all, but twice is a habit's pretty harsh. But yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like when you don't get up for the gym one day, right?
Yeah.
But then you do it again the next day. You're now creating a habit of not doing the things you set in place.
Yeah. Yeah, sex with an ex is, it's a difficult one unless you really, are considering getting back together with them. But in that case, you should be having a conversation and taking them out to dinner to have the conversation, not
I would do it.
Yeah.
Only because I just find my exes extremely attractive still.
Yeah.
It was never like a lack of physical attraction.
You're hoping that they listen to this, aren't you?
I find you so hot. you both know who you are.
Oh, I can't wait for the DMs. Thanks very much, Dwayne.
My exes are irrelevant.
Oh, I love that's fucking.
I might even tag the points in the conversation. So it's like when Dwayne talks about his ex, click here. 45 minutes in, you're fit.
That's fucking brilliant.
But I would do it again. But just because of the physical attraction.
I think guys kind of do it because it's naughty as well, and they know they shouldn't, and they're just like, the fact that you're not together makes it better.
Yeah, it does, 100%.
Yeah.
So.
You had another question, Jessica?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, let me find it.
The questions are quite good.
Why do men talk to women all the time, then ghost them and not follow through on dates? We kind of covered that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's like, a lot of chat up front, and why does that happen?
Yeah.
You know what another one was? Why the fuck do guys keep watching my stories but not respond to texts? Yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
This is one that comes at me all the time. Like, what is with men and social
media? So like they've
habits?
sent a message and they're like watching the story but haven't bothered messaging.
Yeah, or like something's died out. Like, why are you still watching my stories? Why are you still interested in my life?
It's because you've got some interesting stories.
Not me.
Not her person.
Oh right, okay. That's what I thought. I thought your stories are quite interesting.
I think it's just something as simple as like your stories at the top of their feed.
Yeah.
And they're just clicking it.
It's just the
It's not
algorithms.
because they're looking for it. It's just there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We don't even know what we're doing on social media most of the time. We're just
social media is like the algorithm of social media is so intelligent. Like it knows that you're probably talking to that person in some capacity. So you're always going to be top of their story thing. So it's not the fact that they're searching for you. What if she put up? You're just there and they clicked into it. It's just there.
Yeah.
Tell them it's coding.
Yeah, it's coding.
Yeah.
It's coding.
Yeah, literally. It's not because they're searching for it, to be honest. I actually got a good one a couple of days ago.
Go on.
So this guy was just kind of touches on the dating apps as well. He was saying how he got a lot more matches when he was less in shape than when he was in shape, and he was just like, why is that?
And pictures reflect this?
Yeah, so the pictures reflected
He got more matches by people he found attractive?
he got more matches he was just getting more matches in general when he was less in shape than he was. So he got in shape, and the matches.
When you say less in shape, was he just like?
He was chubbier, and then he got like flatter.
Because people don't feel so insecure approaching him.
Yeah, that's what I would have said. I think that women sometimes think if you've got abs, you're just a bit of a dickhead who just thinks too much about yourself.
Yeah, and we do like put guys up on a pedestal, and you're just like, he'll never respond. Like,
yeah.
No.
But don't worry, ladies, I will respond. Don't worry.
So I had this thing, and I'm like, I think men. I wrote it down here. Men interpret what attraction is to women different to what women actually find attractive. Mm-hmm. So like you may be a little bit chubby or whatever, and women might find that attractive, but then you get in the shape and then you don't get as much attention, and that's because our idea of what a woman would like like us physically is very different to what they think, and I think that could have been it as well.
Yeah.
I'm the
Like the
only
female gaze.
I'm the only person like out of my friendship group and like out of a lot of women that I know that likes like an athletic body, and like it's something that I look for, and like a lot of my girlfriends are like, oh, that's just so you know, he's like got a good body, da da da. But that's just because of like my background. But like they just don't care. Like as long as he's funny or he's intelligent or
So
he's
you
nice.
always see, especially in Bondi, like a girl and a guy together, and the girls always fit it. I'm like, how have you got with her?
Like, just funny,
the girl's like
nice.
hot, and then the guy's just like mediocre at best.
Because women are just like
Ridiculous.
Funny gets funny.
Fuck's sake.
Fuck, never say that again. Yeah, I think women are just like
I got that from Steve-O the Madman, by the way. Steve-O the Madman.
Yes, yeah.
women are
Yeah,
just
he's
like
got
a
a top
little
that says
bit.
that.
Women are just a little bit more astute at kind of like sussing out deeper things, and it's not a rig
Yeah.
as their
Fair.
top priority.
So we're wasting time in the gym then.
Fuck's
No, I'm saying you're not. Just like keep going to the gym.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Eat your greens.
I'm going to start going 7 days a week now.
Yeah,
That's
do
it.
it.
You should.
Gonna get a tan.
You should.
I need to grow a lot taller. I need to grow very tall.
You do.
I'm way off.
You're about a foot.
I'm way
You're about a
off.
foot too short.
Yeah.
And a few colours too. Yeah,
Yeah,
a few colours too.
There's a lack of melanin in that skin, right?
What's the next question you have?
Love a good old inside jokes. People
Yeah,
be like, what are
everyone's
they
paying me
laughing
out.
at?
Oh, what's the next question?
That was pretty much the only one. Let me have a read.
Gonna get loads of black guys now sliding into your
Stop
DMs.
it.
Is Justin the black guy?
Nah.
I'm actually black. Funny you should say that. This is such a coincidence. There's actually not that many black guys in Bondi either.
you black?
Yeah, I swear.
That's so. You are as
I
well.
actually am,
You
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I
Yeah, I
didn't-
know. And it's
Jesus.
hard, the accent kind of puts people off.
Yeah,
but-
no, I would have thought. Yeah, I thought you were some
Actually,
white Irish bloke.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Fair play to you. It's like
Just scrub me out.
shit. That's why you're making jerk chicken. I was like, how's this white boy know how to make that kind of stuff? What is going on? I thought you'd be boiling chicken. Fair play.
Boiling chicken with pepper and salt.
That's why you like that deep fried pear. Banging.
That plantain.
That plantain, mate.
Plantain.
Plantain. We've had this conversation.
Jordan. Yeah, go on.
No, I think that was actually my only question that we haven't covered because all the other ones we've literally covered in our conversation today.
Okay.
Damn.
When is the right time to ask someone if it's more than casual?
Oh, wow. This is so hard.
I've got like
Is
two
there
other good ones.
Is there ever a right time?
No. Nah.
Surely you just have to gauge it.
It's just circumstantial. I would
Yeah.
assume it's circumstantial.
It's
like-
circumstantial.
It's like there's no time to know when you're in love. It's just like you just know.
It's hard as well because like a lot of the time you know, like if you're not obtuse, you can tell from, you know, what's going on and how they're treating you that whether they think it's casual or not.
Mm-hmm.
But if you need to put yourself out there because you need to communicate your feelings because you have to stop having casual sex with them to protect yourself,
Yeah.
and that's really hard,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you've gone into it with the idea of it being casual and you've agreed to that because you've been like, yeah, cool, I'm here for casual sex, and then you've got to go back and be like, actually, I said this thing, but you know, I've changed my mind, which is, by the way,
perfectly fine.
okay, everybody. It's totally fine to do that. Fuck. You've just got to go and...
You not think you know, as you said there before you started, like you do know whether it's casual. Like if, I mean, do you though? Because like if they're asking to hang out like random times in the week or going on dates and stuff, you kind of maybe with the gauge, maybe it's a little bit more than casual.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're messaging you on a Saturday night at
Yeah,
1 a.m.,
exactly.
like
Yeah.
it's casual.
I mean, use your spidey senses.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been in the circumstance where it's been not is this casual, but like, you know, I have to have a conversation around like, is this going to move to something else, or are we going to stop doing what we're doing? Because if we continue to go down this path without any classification, then I'll get hurt. You know, and there's no right time. There's no right or wrong time.
There is not.
You just have to go and
just gauge it. I think it comes down to just being honest again. It's just
Yeah.
like just communicate what's on. The worst case scenario, if you communicate what's on your mind, the
You'll
worst
get hurt
case
for a bit.
scenario is that they'll say they're not interested and you've just avoided wasting so much more time.
Yeah.
That's the worst case. Best case
Yeah.
scenario, it works out in your favour and it's all like happy as fuck.
All I can say is like, don't beat yourself up about the fact that if you do change your mind around those circumstances, don't beat yourself up around it because it does happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one.
Go on.
So, if you're in a situation where you're casually sleeping with someone
Mm-hmm.
and one party catches feelings
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you how they feel and the other party does not reciprocate, but yet the party that has feelings says, oh, it's fine, I'll keep sleeping with you. How do you navigate that one?
Oh, I think we talked about this the other day.
In my opinion, I think, for one, as we were talking before we even recorded, the other person's action is not your responsibility.
No.
Like, if you've had a conversation and they've still decided to go ahead and do that, it's not. But then,
You know it's responsible or not if you're a good human.
if you're a good human, you probably shouldn't continue to do it. But then it's like, how do you navigate that? If they're just like, yeah, I get it. I just wanted to know where you were, but let's keep doing this. Because I've had a friend before. She used to live in Australia and she was dating this guy, and he told her that just got a relationship, didn't want anything serious. She got sleeping with him or whatever. And then after a while, she was like it wasn't developing anything more, and she was getting like pissed off at me when it ended, and I was seeing him in nights out in the bar. Shouting away, I was like, oh, don't talk to me, he's a dickhead. I'm like, why? I was like, he told you exactly what his intentions were. He told you he didn't want anything. Why are you getting annoyed at me when I speak to him in the bar when he didn't do anything wrong? He told you what he wanted. It didn't work out. Your mistake was that you thought your vagina could change his mind. That was it. It was like,
Yeah.
you thought he would say no, and that he would like continue sleeping and he would change your mind. It's like, but he didn't. And then
he will continue to
Of
sleep
course.
with you. But
Yeah. I think people think
if you've had that communication, you know what I mean?
I think people get into situations like thinking, even though what they've told them, that they can change that person for some reason.
actually, this is a really good point because a lot of women go into things and think like, well, sex will change things.
Yeah.
My vagina can
Yeah,
change
yeah.
it.
It
Yeah.
can't.
No disrespect to the vagina. I'm sure it's amazing.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's
It's
an
beautiful.
incredible thing.
At the
It
moment,
is
it's
an incredible
beautiful.
thing.
But yeah, sex doesn't really change the
No.
minds of people.
Does
No,
not.
it doesn't. Yeah, loads of people just get into it thinking I'll change him. It's like,
No,
just listen.
women
just,
make
just,
that mistake a lot.
Just hear what's happening. There are red lights, like they're there for a reason.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think you just need to notice that.
yeah, in that situation, you know, it's responsible for you to say, I'm not sure that we should continue doing this because
You do have to be the mature one, I think, in that situation.
But do you not also feel like you're taking away their... If they come to you and say, oh, it's okay though, and then you go, no, it's like, well, that's still my choice.
I get really angry about this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're also taking away their freedom to do
make
it.
their own
Yeah,
decision.
like I can have sex with you if I want. Don't
Don't treat me like a child.
Exactly. You don't know
Yeah.
how I'm going to feel tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
It's-
if you are saying like, yeah, I'm cool with having sex with you, even though I know you don't have feelings for me, and then they're coming back at you like the next 2, 3, 4 days,
Yeah,
or
well,
a
then
week
it's
later,
fair.
and being like, hey, like I still like you, can we get married or whatever, you know? And you're like, we've had this conversation before. Then it starts to grate on you.
Yeah,
And then it's like, I think I
Then
need
it's
to walk
okay.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
that's fair. I think we've covered
No,
everything.
I've got one left actually.
One more. This is gonna be a long ass podcast.
When do you know it's the right time to break up with someone? Oh, I feel like
Killer.
this is an absolute great one to finish off on, because
a
I
killer.
feel that so many people are in relationships, and I think we get into a state of inertia and comfort where we're just like, it's just easy. It's just easy. It's easier to stay in the relationship than fight against it. Even though you have these thoughts and feelings that come up, you're like, we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
When's
okay.
the right time?
So the right time to break up with somebody is when you work out that you are not happy anymore. So yeah, not that the relationship's not going well, but you're not happy.
Like straight away? Like,
No, I mean, if you want to try and communicate and have a conversation with your partner about you not being happy and what you can do to work on it, then that's on you. But I think when you really realize that you're not happy, and sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it takes 6 months. But when you come to that decision that you're unhappy, for whatever reason, it might be you're not happy with them, you know, you're not happy with your sex life, you're not happy with X, Y, Z. And if it can't be fixed, or more importantly, if it's just actually something that's coming from you and you're not happy about how your life is going, then it's time to break up.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I think that to end it off, there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. And I think a lot of people confuse the feeling of being lonely with being alone. And a lot of time you're just alone, which is fair. And I think if you're always just looking for a relationship and thinking that's the be-all and end-all, you will never be happy because you are putting your happiness in someone else's hands. And that will never end up with you feeling good about yourself.
Exactly. So yeah, when you realize that it's you that's unhappy, then
Yeah.
You got to put your happiness first.
You got to look out for number one.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been fucking absolutely... This has been amazing. This is
good.
What an absolutely incredible episode.
I'm so tired.
Boy Detox, do you want to tell people about the event that you've got coming out?
Oh, yeah, I have an event on Thursday, which is...
Oh, there's no point because this is
there's no point.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Well, people want to find you
So,
at... Yeah, go on.
thank you very much, but let them know your handles and how they can contact you.
Yeah,
and
at the Boy
stuff.
Detox is my Instagram handle.
We'll chuck it in as well
Yeah.
when we post this up.
Yes, please.
And
She's got
please go and read all our articles because they are intense.
They are really fucking good,
Yeah,
I
I
promise.
look forward to all the feedback, good or bad.
They're really good.
Life-changing stuff.
She's really good at pretending that she doesn't hate men. She's really good at that.
But thank you very much, Jessica, for coming on.
No
It's been an
worries.
absolute pleasure.
You're welcome.
Can't wait
Yeah.
for the next one. Woo!
Bosh. See you guys later.